yesterday and earlier. What's up, Rania? You're back.
I had to pee. Women have. I was drinking wine.
We can talk
Tulsi?
about more. We can talk about more coronavirus, or we can get to Tulsi because I know people are really asking us to talk about Tulsi.
Tulsi thinks coronavirus is real.
She early on was one of the only members of Congress and presidential candidates really seriously talking about. She was on Tucker Carlson on Fox News. She was on his show almost a month ago to talk about coronavirus. And before that, she was making statements on her Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, social media all the time. She was calling for Hawaii to be able to import tests from South Korea because the U.S. was still coming up with tests that were inconclusive, and South Korea had reached the capacity of testing 15,000 people a day. So Tulsi, as a representative in Hawaii, an island chain very far away from the United States, even though it's technically part of the country, was thinking, why don't we look in another direction and ask South Korea for these tests? Because they have them. She was saying the U.S. government should allow that. She was calling for very common sense measures from the beginning, but Rania, this week, she dropped out of the presidential race and endorsed Joe Biden, and a lot of people were disappointed by that and are curious our thoughts. I'll let you start.
I was saying when you had left shortly, briefly to go to the bathroom, I was saying about Tulsi that I feel like right now there's like an asteroid headed towards Earth, which is the coronavirus, and it feels so existential for what it's doing to like our economy and our healthcare sector that when I saw that video by Tulsi, I just didn't care because I'm just so focused on something else, not the election. But I mean, the more I've had a chance to think about it, the more I'm just like, I can see why people are angry about it. But I also think it doesn't make a difference on the race. And it seems as though she offered her endorsement to Sanders, and then Sanders people, that was one theory, is that Sanders people rejected it, which is plausible. Mm-hmm. The Sanders people don't like Tulsi. They haven't. I also think maybe it was politically a good move for her. I kind of like, it was almost like a troll. Like everyone was calling her a Russian asset, and the Russian asset endorsed Joe Biden. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I just haven't like reflected on it that much, maybe as much as I should have, because I've just been so focused on something else. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you about the initial reaction where I just didn't have this anger the way everyone else did, partially because I accepted a reality, which I think Tulsi did in making her decision, which is that the race for the nomination for the Democratic Party is over. Joe Biden is the nominee. Yeah. Some people only accepted that this week. Some people accepted it several weeks ago.
Some people haven't accepted it.
Some people still haven't accepted it. But Tulsi Gabbard always said that she would endorse the Democratic nominee in spite of the whisper campaigns led by Hillary Clinton and her allies to say that she was going to run a third party. And by endorsing Biden, Gabbard kept good on her promise that she was going to endorse the nominee. And as you say, she also trolled everyone who claimed that she was some sort of destabilizer, not only of the political system, but of the Democratic Party. She's demonstrating herself to be a loyal Democrat. And that's not the decision I would make because that's not my role. But I watched Tulsi's interview with Jimmy Dore, and she spoke pretty honestly. I mean, he threw difficult questions at her, and she said that, first of all, she had to prepare to respond to coronavirus as an active member of the National Guard, and that she always said she was going to support the Democratic nominee, and she kept making a point about saying, I endorse Joe Biden against Donald Trump. She said it 2 or 3 times, kind of with this smile on her face as though she was trying to emphasize the fact that she's endorsing Joe Biden over Donald Trump, not necessarily over Bernie Sanders, but that we have to accept reality. She said, I'm a pragmatist. And that's the mentality I take about politics, too, especially when you're operating on that level.
Yeah.
And Tulsi's intentions, Tulsi's message has always been very clear, even if we don't necessarily understand her actions. And she released a statement, which I think is really important to listen to right now. She released this yesterday. She said, as we watch our healthcare system crumble around us, endangering the lives and well-being of all of us, perhaps now the core message of my presidential campaign will be better understood. We need to invest the trillions of dollars that we have been wasting on the counterproductive new Cold War nuclear arms race and regime change wars, overthrowing dictators we don't like, into the care of the needs of the American people, like healthcare, infrastructure, protecting the environment, and so much more. So, in her interview with Jimmy Dore, Tulsi said that she is very clear-eyed about her role and what she is doing in order to lift this core message of her campaign. She didn't say that she was going to get a position in the Biden presidency, which we all know
she won't.
Will never happen.
Yeah.
but she said that she was making this decision after really thinking about it. And I'm not inside of Tulsi's head, but I trust that she made the best decision for her. Nobody really knows where she's going next. She's not seeking her seat in Congress, partially because the Democrats ran a centrist corporate Democrat who's also a veteran against her as a direct response to her position in 2016 to resign from the Democratic Party in support of Sanders. She is a loyal supporter of Sanders, demonstrated by what she did in 2016, demonstrated by what she did all throughout the campaign, by the way. Let me just point out that at every single step of the way, when Bernie Sanders failed to attack people such as Kamala Harris or people such as Pete Buttigieg, Tulsi was always there to deliver a smackdown, which is why they removed her from debates at a certain point. She was doing that job in assistance not to herself, but to Senator Sanders.
Yeah.
And she put herself on the line in 2016. And it wasn't just rumors that she approached the Sanders campaign with her endorsement and then was rejected, and that's why she made her decision to endorse Biden. Her own brother posted that on his Facebook account and then deleted the post.
Right.
So these are well-founded rumors, and I can totally see it being true. And I can also see it being true that based on what Tulsi Gabbard sees as her role in the political system, which isn't my role, it's not your role, Rania. It's not the role of many of our viewers and supporters. But she plays a very unique role that we should not diminish and that we shouldn't just eliminate completely because she does things we don't like.
Right. And I don't know. I think the hatred for her isn't fair, especially from the Sanders supporters. That's where some of the most vitriolic hatred for her comes, like for Tulsi, comes from. Did what she was doing to help that campaign. And at the end of the day, I just don't think any of this matters. Like, I don't think that Tulsi endorsing Biden matters. I don't think she's endorsing Biden because she suddenly shares his philosophy, you know? Or like you said, she's going to get a position in his campaign. And
she's just a Democrat.
And I actually think it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate she's not going to be in Congress anymore because she was a rare voice when it came to foreign policy. No one else says what Tulsi says. No one else says it, especially nobody who's as young as she is and as like healing as she is.
Or progressive. You might have Rand Paul saying it.
Right. I actually think it's a loss for anti-war politics to have her not be in Congress. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens next, but I don't hate her. I think I'm not excited she endorsed Joe Biden, but I don't think it means anything.
You're saying she's a deep state asset.
I don't think she's a deep state. Is big octopus saying that?